Hey guys, it's Kate, and I hope you're having a wonderful day today. I'm here with my cheap 5S paper and my large quill brush and my Mozart Kohlrabi palette, and I'm just getting my paper nice and moist so I can do some wet and wet painting. I think I want to do another mixed media because I had so much fun doing the last one, and I really want to experiment more with watercolor and different media. So I'm going to try a little bit of something different today. So I've got my paper pretty wet. I think I'm going to go into the yellows and oranges today. A nice bright background, and I am going to go straight into the pan to get that good pigment. So I'm just going to kind of spread my main color out a bit, just like this. And then I'm going to go in, and I think I'm going to go into my gamboge back here, and I'm going to put that in so we have a little bit of different tones going on here. So I'm going to go into that and let that kind of blend together. And I'm going to work quickly while my paper is wet, and I'm just getting a good layer down. And I love this sort of bright, sunshiny color. And then we will let this dry together, and it will just kind of spread out and do its thing and blend. Just want to make sure that I'm getting a good amount of pigment down here so that we have a good background to work on, because it's going to lighten a little bit as it dries also. And you know what? Why don't we go ahead and do some alcohol like last time? It's fun. So I'm going to hold it probably about a foot away, maybe that far away, and just give it a light mist. And so we get some texture going on the page. All right, I'm going to set this aside and let it dry. Okay, we're dry and I'm back, and I have this little silicone stamp. It's just sort of some script text that is pretty much illegible, and I've got some archival ink in hickory smoke. So I'm going to do a little bit of stamping on the background, and I'm just using this sort of light gray color so that it doesn't leave too much of a dark mark. I just want to add some texture here. And I'm going to grab some different parts of my stamp so that it doesn't all look the same. And I'm not going to cover the whole entire paper, but I think that looks pretty good. Let's see, maybe I'll do just another little one there, and then get off any excess onto my paper. All right, that looks pretty good to me. Next, I'm going to grab an oil pastel. An oil pastel will have a resist effect with watercolor. I grabbed this sort of light green. It's almost like a sage. And I am going to just draw a few little leaves. And I'm going to let some of these kind of come off the page, just like that. And then have maybe a couple come down from the top. Maybe like that. I think I like that. Maybe I'll have one more coming off of the side right there. So what I'm going to do next is grab my wax resist stick. So this is wax, and this is just like a clear crayon, and I am going to do some coloring in the center, and I'm going to try to get pretty good coverage, but it doesn't need to be perfect. And if it ends up where I have a little bit that I did not color, I think it might add kind of a neat texture, but we'll find out together. So I'm just coloring in these leaves, and don't forget, once you add wax or oil, it's going to repel future water-based media. So I will not be coloring any more in these leaves with watercolor. It will just kind of bead up on the top, and that'll be that. So I'm just going to fill in these leaves, and these will kind of be my focal point in a way, and we will work on adding another layer to our background. And so I'm just making sure to get all of these covered, like I said, as best as I can, because there might be a little spot here and there that doesn't have coverage, but that's totally fine. So next, because I have my resist set up, I can go back in with another layer of watercolor. So I'm going to grab my quill brush again. I'm going to moisten my palette again because it did get a little bit dry. Maybe I can do a little bit of an olive green. That sounds pretty good to me. And I'm even going to moisten my page just a little bit, and you can even see how it kind of activated a little bit of that stamping as well. Now the stamping will still show through because we have transparent color that we're working with here, so it will show really nicely all the way through that water. Now I'm going to have some green on here, but I don't want to only use the green, so I think I'm going to dip a little bit into this yellow ochre and kind of mix that in there as well, and just let this have a little bit of two-tone look to it. So I'm just going to kind of drop in here and there just to darken up and add maybe a little bit of shadow, just like this. And I might go back into this gamboge because I really love that orange color, and I don't want to lose that on my layers. And I love the colors on this. So I'm just going to kind of go through here and get my color dropped in. And I may just grab a piece of paper towel here and do some light blotting, just to add a little bit more texture, just like that. And it's almost giving a little bit of a stamping effect, almost like a little bit of weathering or aging, and it just adds that little bit of extra oomph. And then I'm also going to come in here with some alcohol drops. And they may not show up a ton because I have a pretty light coat on here, but we'll see. Nice. All right. Now I'm just going to give my leaves a quick wipe where I had my wax resist, and I'm just going to wipe them right off where I have some of that watercolor kind of beaded up on there. All right, then let's let this dry again. So I was going to sit and let this dry, but I actually changed my mind. I was looking at this and I really don't have enough contrast. And so what I decided to do was to grab my sponge, and I'm going to sponge on some more color into the side here. So I just wet my sponge and squeezed it out so it's damp. And I am going to go right into my palette. I'm going to go into the grass green and start sponging some on right into my paper. And you can see the alcohol spots kind of coming through also. And that looks kind of neat, actually. I like that. All right, let's go back in with our brush, grab some more of this grass green, and I'm going to just sort of come around these leaves a little bit and just let this color flow out. Just like this. And I'm going to blot some back also. Yeah, I think I like that better. All right, let's come up right into here. Yeah, that looks good to me. And I'm just kind of helping it along, adding some shadows. I'm going to do some more blotting. Just like that. And just keep going. I'm going to go back into this gamboge again and add some more in a few of these spots. And it's going to mix some with that green, that's okay, and kind of make it a little bit more earthy. I like getting these little pops of brightness in here. I love how that looks. This is going to be very mottled, but I kind of love it. Okay, you know what? I need just a little bit more up here. Yeah. That's much better. Okay, now we can let this dry. All right, I'm back and I'm going to add just a couple more little things to this to finish it off. So I'm going to go into the deep blue here in my palette with my smaller quill brush, and I want to just make a few little berries. And I don't want them to be too dark, but I'm just gonna come in here and make some dots. Just to give it a little bit more contrast. All right, and then I'm going to add another little sprig right here. I'm using this blue just to give it a little bit more contrast on the page. And I think what I might actually do also is outline my leaves with some blue also. So just gonna go through here easy, just making sure I get my shapes in. I like that. Yeah? What do we think? All right. So I'm going to get a similar color blue with my oil pastels. And I'm just going to lightly go around the outside of these leaves where I had that original, almost like the sage green color back from the beginning. And I'm just going to go around lightly and just reaffirm this outline so that we have that contrast in there. And since I'm going over the original resist, because I'm using an oil, it will show up just fine. I think that looks really good. I love this one, and I wasn't even really knowing exactly what I wanted to do. Okay, last but not least, I grabbed this little sort of rose collage piece, and it's actually from this packet here. It's from the Paper Studio at Hobby Lobby. I got these a while back for, I'm sure I got them on sale. The price on here is $4.49, but I bet you I got half off. And these are all of the different elements you get with this pack. So I don't know if they still sell it now. I got it last year, so I don't know how often they switch out, but I thought that would be a good thing to glue on this page also. So I'm just grabbing just some plain glue, and I'm going to put a thin layer on the back so that I can attach it to the sheet. And I'm not putting on so much glue that it's going to flow out the side. And then I think I'm going to put it right about here, right in the center of my first leaf sprig. Just like that. And I think I like how that looks. So I think it's time to take off our tape and see what we've got here. I love doing these layers and kind of experimenting with the watercolor, but using kind of some mixed media techniques, sort of like I do with my intuitive type painting with my acrylic paints. I'd like to do more experimentation with my watercolors. So I think these are kind of a great way to do more of that and just go out of my comfort zone a little bit. So I think with this, I might do one other thing. I don't know. I kind of want to give this a little bit of an outline, so I might go into this deep blue and just add a little bit of a brush mark to the outside here, just a little bit. And I'm even going over that paper a little bit too. That way it definitely will show up. Now, I won't have it on my resist spot still, but I'll still have some on the outside of my little element here. And I think I like that much better. It just helps set it off and kind of bring it in together. So let me give you a close-up and then we'll call it a day. I love how organic everything looks, and I love the texture, the stamping, and everything on here. So I hope you enjoyed this video today with me. If you like it, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I hope to see you in the next video. Till then, keep creating. Bye.